minimal exploitation of resources and making the resources available to the future generations. Hello students, welcome back to Paathshala classes. This is Shashwat Dubey, one of the faculty members of Paathshala classes, and today we are going to discuss a very significant summit, that is the Quad Summit of 2024. So let's begin. Quad Summit of 2024 was attended by Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. You can also see that the slide mentions as to the eminent members who have attended this particular summit. Firstly, you should know who all are the member countries of Quad. First, obviously, India being one of its member, followed by USA, followed by Australia, followed by Japan. So, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi participated in the 6th Quad Summit. Take a note of this fact. It was the 6th Quad Summit of 2024. Also, the leaders who have attended are Mr. Narendra Modi, Joseph Biden, Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. Anthony, and Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Fumio. These people have attended this particular summit. Also, the venue where this particular summit was organized was Wilmington, Delaware. The date of the summit is 21st September 2024. I'll just repeat it, highlighted जितने भी हैं, जितने भी मैंने अंडरलाइन कर रखे हैं, इनसे क्वेश्चंस you can really expect in your current affairs section of CLAT and AILET 2024. Right? The Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi participated in the 6th Quad Leader Summit at Wilmington, Delaware on 21st of September 2024, which was hosted by the President of USA, Mr. Joseph Biden, and it was attended by Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. Anthony. Also, along with him, Prime Minister of Japan was present there, who had presided over this particular summit. This is again an important area from where question can be asked as to who was the host of this particular Quad Summit of 2024. तो आपको टिक करना है USA. This time USA has hosted this particular summit. Also, what are the key takeaways of this particular summit, as in what are the policies that the countries have together collectively decided and they are willing to work on that points. तो जितने takeaways रहे हैं इस particular summit के वो हम आगे discuss करेंगे. The announcements made in this year's summit. The very first, Quad Cancer Moonshoot. This policy focuses on combating cervical cancer, right? The second most important thing is MATRI. ये abbreviated version है, abbreviated से भी आता है questions. तो also इसका abbreviated है ये full form Maritime Initiative for Training in the Indo-Pacific. Fine. This policy has been undertaken to enable Indo-Pacific partners to maximize tools provided through IPMDA and other Quad initiatives. Indo-Pacific Partnership for Maritime Awareness. This is the first ever Quad at Sea Ship Observer mission in 2025 to improve interoperability and advance maritime safety. What do you mean by interoperability? Interoperability means the networking, the connection through computer and other systems. Fine. The third point, the third policy which was discussed and deliberated was to implement Quad ports of the future partnership, future collaboration for Quad ports, right? Under which they have discussed that it will harness the Quad's collective expertise in order to support sustainable and resilient port infrastructure development across the Indo-Pacific areas, as in sustainable, which means pollution free, as well as sustainability means minimal use, minimal exploitation of resources and making the resources available to the future generations. तो ये कंसर्न है, रहेगा, फोकस रहेगा इस पर्टिकुलर पॉलिसी के थ्रू. The fourth point, Quad principles for development and deployment of digital public infrastructure in the region and beyond. In the region means Indo-Pacific region only. It goes unsaid, right? The fifth one, a semiconductor supply chains contingency network memorandum of cooperation. This has to be undertaken जहां पर सेमीकंडक्टर के एफिशिएंसी को इंक्रीज करने के लिए ये पॉलिसी इंप्लीमेंट करने की बात कर रहा है. नाउ अंडर दिस सेमीकंडक्टर पॉलिसी देयर आर टू highlighted points that you should focus on. The very first, this policy will be undertaken in order to enhance resilience of Quad semiconductor supply chains. Also, this will lead to collective Quad effort in order to boost energy efficiency, including deployment and manufacturing of high efficiency affording cooling systems in the Indo-Pacific region. Seventh point, India's establishment of a space-based web portal for Mauritius. Post implementation of this policy, which was deliberated and discussed in this particular Quad Summit of 2024, this was the main motive for establishment of a space-based web portal at Mauritius. This policy's implementation will lead to will provide the support to concept of open science for space-based monitoring of extreme weather events and climate impact. Also, the very important point to be taken a note of is this very point, because India has promoted this particular thing wherein it has announced that students of the Indo-Pacific region will get a subject to pursue, which will be a 4-year bachelor's level engineering program, and this has been announced by India. Fine, this will be a 4 years bachelor program, engineering program at a government of India, which will be obviously funded by the technical institutes across India. You can expect questions from these 3 points as well. So please focus on these points. The very first, the leaders welcome the next hosting of the Quads Leader Summit by India, which means the next summit which will be held next year will be hosted by our country, India. And in order to take the Quad agenda forward, they have also adopted Quad Wellington Declaration. This particular declaration talks about joint statement from the leaders of Australia, India, Japan and the US, that is the member countries. So that is all for today. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel of Paathshala classes, also for getting free and expedient doubt redressal and other e-materials. You can also subscribe to the Telegram channel of Paathshala classes. Thank you so much.